Now, supposedly, Mike Bloomberg doesn't need your money for his presidential run. He's got just about enough of his own, I think, but that doesn't mean that you can't give him money. Perhaps to buy some merch, perhaps to buy whatever this is supposed to be. They've got on Team Bloomberg a tweet about their not a socialist hat. Something for our capitalist friends, you get it? You get it? You go to mikebloom.bg/hat. You can get a hat that says not a socialist on the front and bring in the boss on the back, because that's a thing people would wear.
Yeah, what does that mean?
I don't think that most Fox News personalities would think that's cool, let alone a Democrat.
Yeah, no, if you make that hat red and then put a Trump insignia on the corner of it and they bring in the boss. No, it's exactly. I'm sorry, I hate to keep comparing him to, actually I don't, but I know it's constant how much we compare him to Donald Trump, but it's just they're way too stark. The similarity. What does that mean, bring in the boss?
I guess it's supposed to be that, like, hey, you need someone who started a business.
Yeah, you're going to get someone who now who's gotten the attention of the populace of the country, who's like, hey, we're the working class. We'd like some rights. We'd like to be recognized. We'd like to actually have a part of this American dream that you said we all get the opportunity at. And then your response is, I'm put a hat on that says bring in the boss because I'm the Democratic nominee. How does that match up? Do you expect to get any of those voters?
If I were to list types of people, and you just had like your gut reaction, is it favorable, is it not favorable? And I eventually got to your boss. Is all the voters like, yeah, send him in. I want to talk to the boss more. No, most people, some of us have good bosses, we're lucky enough, but that doesn't mean that the American people love it. Now I get, and sort of to your comparison, yeah, a whole bunch of people that supposedly are suffering from economic anxiety voted for the guy who likes firing people on TV. I get it, we're living in weird times. I don't think this is it though. Honestly, like you're gonna walk around in something that says not a socialist. How weird is your life? What weird interactions you wanna get into with random people? Like, I wouldn't wear a hat that says socialist. Not because I'm not a socialist, I am, but because that's not a series of conversations that I wanna have when I'm like at Ralph's trying to buy cheese. It's just weird. Anyway, let's talk a little bit more about Mike Bloomberg and his money. I did want to remind you that last night he appeared to have had a little bit of a slip of the tongue, perhaps a Freudian slip, perhaps a corrupt slip. See if you can see what I'm talking about.
All of the new Democrats that came in, put Nancy Pelosi in charge and gave the Congress the ability to control this president, I got them. Number two.
So now supposedly, that sounds like he bought them because he totally believes and is mostly right that traditionally he can buy politicians if he wants to. Now I'm to believe that they are saying that's not what he was saying.
Yeah, I think we do have it. The spokesperson for the Bloomberg campaign decided to try and defend him.
Why don't we go to that?
What did he mean to say there? Because it sure sounded like he was about to say, I bought them.
John Berman, you're such a cynical journalist. You know what I heard was back, but it's fine if it was bought. I think the point remains, what was the outcome?
Okay, if it was back, why didn't he finish the word? You can say back, that's a reasonable thing to have said. You can't say bought, which is why when you realize you're saying it, you stop. I'm not allowed to say certain swears on air. I have started to, and I've tried to bite them off. I know what that's like. He bought them. He believes that he can buy people. You know why? Because he buys people all the time. He buys fake supporters in that crowd. He buys fake social media ambassadors all over the country, many of whom are apparently turning on him. Yeah, that's what he does. He buys people, and those he can't buy, he makes sign NDAs, effectively.
I mean, okay, so there's audio of him at an event where he literally said business leaders should buy politicians. That's the way it's supposed to work. So it's not like it's something that's outside of the bounds of what he may think. He has said it.
Unique.
He said it. It's not even like, oh, this is totally outside of his character. I can't imagine him saying such a thing. We just heard it. He did say such a thing. So if the slip of the tongue was him about to say it again, it's not crazy.
Yeah.
He said it without stopping before.
Yeah, it's not crazy. What is crazy is that they brought it up on the news. I'm impressed, honestly. Like, we noticed it. I did not think they would say it on an actual cable show.
I think the biggest problem is that there's these two vowels. One's an A and one's an O. They sound
exactly. They do sound different. They also mean something different. Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.